News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukatali.
And top of the morning to you. This is Newsline, live as always from the News First studios in Dawson Street in Clambo. And to start this week off, as the proceedings out there get quite serious and quite hot, and to discuss various matters of succession and perhaps even candidacy, we've got with us here. I'll just introduce you to you as Mr. Maithri Gunaratne. Very good morning to you, Mr. Gunaratne.
Morning, Faraz.
The reason I hesitated to give you a title was because there are several that I can choose from. But Maithri Gunaratne is easy. Former governor now.
Not yet.
Not yet. You're still the governor.
Still the governor. Although I have tendered my resignation, it has not been accepted yet.
Right. So you're off to see the president this morning?
That's right.
Now then, I just wanted to ask you, governors usually tend to be rather quiet. You hardly ever hear of them. They're here, there and everywhere, opening this, that or the other and gracing various occasions. You didn't become a governor for that, did you?
Not, certainly not.
Right. You've got quite an active life anyway.
Yes.
So, what did you do that other governors perhaps didn't or don't want to?
Faraz, I think I made it a very active role, and in the absence of the provincial council, I had to do the work of the chief minister, 4 ministers, and 53 members of the provincial council. All of those, all of the work which had to be done was thrust upon my shoulders, and as a result of that, there was no way I could have been a ceremonial governor. Anyway, I don't intend to be a ceremonial governor either, because I think the governor is the most powerful person in the province, and he decides the policy as to how the province should go.
Right.
So basically, I decided what should be done, and I went ahead with whatever the province needed. And I feel in 7 months, I was able to contribute a lot to the central province, and the people of the central province are extremely happy of what has happened in the last 7 months,
Right.
and the role played by the governor. And I think it was after the 7 months, the completion of the 7 months, people realized what the powers of the governor was and what the governor can do. So these are basically the positions where you can do a lot of work for the country, although many of them have used it as a ceremonial seat. I feel that the position of a governor, you can contribute, and for us, if you want to work wherever you are, you can work. That is my policy. You don't need to have a title. I believe in leading even without a title. So when you are put to some position, you must see, and especially these are positions of given by the state, given by His Excellency the President. So you need to do your best for the country, which I feel to the best of my ability. I was able to do that in Kandy, and it was 3 provinces, Noralia, Kandy and Matale. Ultimately, I think I got to know the provinces like the back of my hand.
Mr. Gunaratne, forgive me for asking you this, but I think it's a question that I must ask you. You've been the governor, you still are, but there's some talk that you may not.
Yeah.
Later on today. You were at Lanka Mineral Sands, you were at Lanka Coal. At all these places, there is absolutely no suggestion whatsoever of any wrongdoing on your part, or corruption, or involvement in abuse of power or due process. Then why is it that seemingly a person who is able to deliver, you've gone from place to place? What is that? Because you've done something there, you've fixed it, then they say, right, go and fix the other one, and then back to the central province? What is it?
It's not that for us. It's not a. I mean, I have not been doing a troubleshooting job.
Right.
When I was at Lanka Coal, I was buying the coal from the world market at $15 less than the market price or the price we were buying it, and that was not very. Many people felt uncomfortable with that. They didn't want me there. I reduced the pricing of the barging from $4.60 to $1.60. So there was a $3 saving. 15
This is per ton.
And 2.2 million tons is the need of the of every year.
2 million tons.
2.2 million tons.
So that's an additional $6.6 million just like that.
Just like that. So when these were prevented, ministers, secretaries, I have on this show many a time brought it to the notice. Suren Batakoda stood in the way. He just didn't want me to be there, and ultimately what they did was they dissolved the board, and I had to go. Then thereafter, His Excellency the President appointed me as the chairman or the competent authority of the Mineral Sands Corporation. When I took over office, it didn't have a mining license. The license had been cancelled. I was able to restore the license. They had been mining only about 1,500 tons per month. Within 6 months, I increased it to 6,500 tons, and the organization had about money for about only 2 months to function.
Yeah.
Within 6 months, I had 1 billion rupees in the account, and I had other stocks which the secretary Ranjit Asoka and the minister Rishad Badruddin prevented me from selling, and some of the sales which I made on a very transparent tender process, they cancelled it. I sold ilmenite at $205 per ton, and ultimately they cancelled it, saying that they can get a better price, just because they wanted the whole thing to stall the whole process.
I see.
And ultimately they sold it only at $125. So actually the loss caused by the secretary Ranjit Asoka and Mr. Rishad Badruddin, I think the former minister, is about 70 million. So there were so many losses caused, and they didn't want me to be there. They dissolved that board also.
So are you, from what I gather, including various sort of causes of not maybe complaints even, as your tenure as governor, appears that there is no real focus on getting towards delivery, ending corruption.
No, Faraz, I feel in this country, if you work towards getting rid of corruption, if you work towards doing a good job, that is basically a disqualification. That is not appreciated. Now, even as governor of the central province, I mean there are opportunities where we have to give jobs, and tremendous pressure was put on me to give these jobs to a political party, and that I could not do because all these jobs were all gazetted, advertised, and there was a transparent process.
Right.
So they were insisting that I flout the transparent process and give them their wish, which I was not willing to do.
Yeah.
And I think that is the main reason that these political stalwarts who come on TV and talk about all the virtues in the world wanted me removed, because they thought, one, they're not going to get their way. The second thing is they thought that I'm going to contest in the central province.
Are you?
No. And that is going to be a threat to them. So they thought the best thing is to get rid of him.
But when I look at the wider picture, it appears to me that President Sirisena's hands are being tied from time to time behind his back in his fight against these various matters.
Yeah, problem is, for us, it is political survival for him, and that is why his hands are being tied. That is why he is being pushed to corners. That is why he has to take such decisions. So this is a very sad situation for the country, because selfish politicians are always working towards getting their part of their bargain, and I mean, they just do not care as to what happens to the country. I mean, one of them, I don't want to mention names now, but one of them said, as governor, we just want you to be in the office and we want you to just help our guys and you don't need to do anything. So I said, then if that is the case, you better tell the president and get me removed. There is no problem, I'm willing to go, but I'm not willing to sit down here and do nothing.
You've got many valuable other things that you can
Precisely.
do. Do you get the feeling that perhaps, if you look at it in the cold neutrality of day, that the 19th Amendment perhaps is not the best thing in the world in terms of trying to govern? It looks like the president can't govern. If he doesn't like the Prime Minister, the 19th Amendment doesn't allow him to get rid of him. If he doesn't like anything, he can't do anything. So Hemantha Warnakulasuriya said that the presidency has been reduced to that of an eunuch.
Yeah, a lot of the powers have been reduced for us. Well, that was the need of the hour at that time, because no one wanted to see another Mahinda Rajapaksa being invented or coming into power.
But the whole system was infused with this Rajapaksa ambience. So when Mr. Sirisena arrived on the scene, even though he clipped his powers, what he had was an ambience of this Rajapaksa ambience.
Yeah, he had that ambience, but I feel Faraz, the 19th Amendment was brought in, and why this whole government was a failure is because President Sirisena, actually he is the person who got the mandate.
Yes.
And what he did was he thought that the Prime Minister,
Yeah.
Ranil Wickremesinghe, is going to be an economic wizard who can turn this around with a magic wand, and that whole process failed. It failed badly, from the central bank fraud, then from the that's a bond scam, then the coal tender. I mean, you look at every deal thereafter, every deal was scarred with corruption. And as a result of that, this whole relationship went sour. Because I remember maybe 3-4 months after this government came into power in 2015, I met His Excellency the President on some other issue, and this bond matter was brought up, and he told me, Mama, අගමැතිතුමාට කිව්වා මේ අධිපති බැංකුවේ අධිපති අයින් කරලා දාලා යන්න නැත්නම් අපිට ඡන්දෙ දිනන්නත් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. So I mean, I think he was spot on.
Absolutely.
He was spot on.
He was absolutely spot on, wasn't he?
He was spot on. And for us, ultimately what happened was the UNP couldn't secure a majority in parliament in the 2015 election, and they had to resort
Do you blame the after effects of the bond scam?
Oh, definitely, because for us it was a large section of independent, non-political people who voted for this Yahapalana government, and they expected, if there was one iota of suspicion with regard to any deal, that these people would have come and got rid of it. And no one expected the Prime Minister. I mean, he was always thought of as Mr. Clean.
Yeah.
As Mr. Clean. But even today, some people don't accept that he is responsible for this.
Actually, why is that? By the way, on Newsline, we encourage you to send your questions by SMS on 0772 300 305, number coming up on your screen shortly. Why is that, though?
No, that this is maybe an image which has been built some time ago, that he is Mr. Clean and he just does not tolerate any kind of malpractice or injustice or corruption.
So then what about the bond scam?
So precisely. So I mean, they say that it cannot be possible. So there are some people, and they go to a ridiculous, another ridiculous conclusion. No, this must have been taken for the political party.
So does that make it right?
That is precisely what I am trying to say. No, they are justifying it. they even if they accept that it was a wrong thing for us,
Yeah.
they try to justify it, say, no, this, you need this for politics, you need to take it for run the political party. I mean, what do you do to people who think like that? What do you do? I mean, they just don't want to.
But the chap who sits next to him, Lakshmi Kirialda, we highlighted it, that he was acting completely out of procedure in terms of the Central Expressway, Section 3.
Yeah.
Completely and utterly. It was a fix from day one.
Day one.
They chose a company that was had its own share of consternation and controversy in Japan, and then they tried to get another company who weren't even in the process. They had meetings. Kiriala had meetings in his office without his ministry secretary with the bidders, with the potential bidders. So, so it looks like that he can't even control the man who sits right next to him.
No, because for us, when the boss is robbing, or when the boss is involved in various malpractices, even the subordinates start following the same way. So basically for us, what you need is, if the boss is good, if the boss is honest, if the boss is hardworking, I feel everyone else falls in line. But if the boss is dishonest, if the boss is not going to or not willing to work hard, then it's bad luck for the whole country.
Right. Well, I've got one question. I'll take one from the audience, if you like, which has just arrived. Mr. Gunaratne, when will you divulge the details of fraud and corruption of mineral sands and coal to the people? Why is the president not taking action on the Presidential Commission on the bond scam, Sri Lankan Airlines, and many others, including Pressifac? Reasons for delay in action. This is all about what you're saying.
Yeah. I feel that all these reports have been given to the Attorney General for him to take action.
He seems to be doing a jolly good job at the moment.
No, he is. This present Attorney General, Mr. Tappula Rivera, is he's after 4.5 years.
Yeah.
The Attorney General's department has got live and active and kicking.
Right.
So I presume that within the next few months, something should come out.
Okay.
But basically, there is president cannot take action on his own. It has to be the Attorney General's department, the legal arm of the state.
Yeah.
So up to that point, he has given the reports to the Attorney General's department, and it's up to them to file action and take it forward for us.
Right. I want to move on to something else that's equally important that's happening right now as we speak, and that is this business about this sort of coalition that Ranil Wickremesinghe is putting together.
Yeah.
And it appears to me, when we look and dissect the various things that are happening, it looks like the UNP is being completely done over.
For us, I mean, that is vintage Ranil Wickremesinghe. He knows that there is a wave inside the UNP trying to bring in Sajid as the presidential candidate, or the people want Sajid to lead. So the only way he can completely divert from that position is to go in for this formation of this alliance and limit the role of the UNP in the alliance. So that's why he has worked all this time to make the DNF, that is the Democratic National Front.
Yes.
So then the UNP becomes only one party in that.
Right.
And there are several other political parties who are in the coalition or in the front.
Yeah.
So then the voice of the UNP in the front is completely muffled.
Right.
So then he is the leader of that front.
Right.
And he presumes that he can get his way in the front, and that the front will name him or his nominee as the presidential candidate. So basically,
but but what about, where is democracy then?
No, there is no democracy in the UNP. Basically, there is no democracy. No. For us, democracy and Mr. Wickramasinghe don't see eye to eye. They don't see eye to eye.
But that's the paint with which he paints himself and his party in his relationships internationally and so on.
Yeah,
internationally, people think that he's a real Democrat.
Oh yes, they think he's the Democrat, and I think they had some international organization has made him the vice president
That's
or the president
right,
of the Democratic
International Democratic Union.
So he has been able to deceive them,
right,
and show them that he's an absolute Democrat. But for us, he's not a Democrat. I mean, he is anything but a Democrat.
But it's a sad state of affairs. He's our Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's people have voted him.
What is wrong in nominating? Why put the cart before the horse? Why can't the members of the United National Party have their candidate? What's so blessed secret about this?
No,
I mean, on the other side, we have Mahinda Rajapaksa, who's not a member of that party, right? He's not even a member of that party. And where's democracy when everybody in that party is saying, oh, well, when Mahinda says, we will have a candidate. So he's practicing some other kind of democracy, and Mr. Wickramasinghe is no better.
Precisely. No, the point is for us, Mr. Wickramasinghe is manipulating his political party, and he makes his working committee. He appoints the working committee.
Yeah.
The working committee appoints him.
Yeah.
So all the people in the working committee decide when he says I want to do this. All of them raise their hands and agree. So that has been the main cause of the decline of the UNP. Now, in the good old days, there was debate inside the working committee.
Yeah.
On any idea, there was a debate.
Yeah.
Here, if there is a debate, the people who speak against the party leader is summarily dismissed after the next working committee. So no one dare talk.
Right.
No one dare talk. It's just go and raise your hands and say that this is the best leader, and without this leader, we cannot go forward. So, I mean, on this show, I have brought it to your notice. The Panditaratne report as far back as 2004,
Indeed.
has very clearly said that if you continue with this leader and his attitude, the party will lead to catastrophe, which has happened. So this was said in 2004, that is maybe about 14-15 years ago, right? So none of those reports have seen the light of day.
We had somebody in the parliamentary group who had asked how they can trust him, and they wanted various changes made to the proposed constitution of this democratic front.
Yeah, I don't think trust and Wickramasinghe also go together.
Oh, so it's just like democracy and Wickramasinghe?
Those words they are not synonymous with.
So where did he gather this whole titling of Mr. Clean in that case?
This was some time ago for us, when he was minister and a few times prime minister. Then I feel when he was once prime minister in 1994, he left Temple Trees with his suitcase.
Yeah.
And I think at that time they built him up. They built him up saying he's Mr. Clean, he's a very good politician, he's a Democrat. It was at that time that they built it up, and they did a good job at that time, because it's very difficult to remove that image.
Right. In the closing minutes, I want to ask you again, do you think that now they say that the signing of this agreement, this DNF, has been postponed indefinitely?
Yeah.
Akhila Viraj is quoted as saying that in the press. Now, does this mean that the people who are challenging Wickramasinghe to be truly Democrat are actually winning the day?
Well, there is a big, as I told you, there is a huge swirl in the UNP where they don't want Mr. Wickramasinghe, or they don't want Mr. Karu Jayasuriya to be the candidate.
Right.
So the UNP has see it as Sajith the only hope. Sajid the only hope. So that is why all these issues are coming up. And the other thing is, Faraz, when I was in the UNP, when we marched from Mathura to Colombo, saying that Ranil Yanna, Ranil go, please go, right? It was people like Mangala Samaravikrama, Malik Samaravikrama, all these guys who are now saying that Ranil should go. And
so now they've seen the light of the day.
Now it is now that they have seen that this you cannot go forward. We saw this. I saw this as far back as 2010. So they took 9 years or almost 10 years to realize that this is a dead duck. This is a dead duck. So well, God help the UNP. I mean, I don't think even God can help the UNP.
But is the presence of Malik Samaravikrama in this other group who are sort of hell-bent on change, is he a Trojan horse?
Can be. It always happens like that. It always happens like that. Malik always comes in as a guy who is opposing this, then gets to know the guys who are in it, and then thereafter he turns them around. So you're perfectly correct. He has always been used as a Trojan horse, and I don't think this time is going to be an exception.
But there are several young people in the there are several people within the United National Party, perhaps younger, who are baying for change. The winds of change are swirling around Srikota now.
No, for us, what happens is this: all of them want change, but they don't want to stick their necks out for change, because the moment they stick their necks out, their positions are one thing is they are removed of their organizerships. Second thing is next election, they are being nominated on the list, or they are being chosen as candidates also at stake. So no one who has invested so much, I mean, to become an MP, to become a provincial member, become a Radha Sabha member, there is a lot of money and time which needs to be invested. So although we didn't fix any price for that, we fought it, we lost our positions, we got onto the street. The others can't afford to do that for us. Although we did it, I don't think Shiral and I mean, we lost our positions. They sacked us from the party. We did it because we believed in the cause, and we wanted change.
Does your heart, Maithri Gunaratne, is your heart at the United National Party?
Faraz, not the way it is going. Not the way it is going. I mean, certainly the United National Party has never been synonymous with robbing the country. I mean, the former leaders, people like Mr. D.S. Seranayaka, Dudley Seranayaka, Jayawardena, Mr. Premadasa, all of them are people who worked tirelessly to fight and eradicate poverty, and to contribute to this country. But I must say that the present UNP has got nothing of that in its heart. They are just a bunch of people who have come to make money from the state and impoverish this country.
And you think, what are the chances of real change? What are the chances of real democracy enveloping the United National Party?
There is no chance. Until Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe is alive, there is no chance of a snowball in hell that the UNP will see a democratic process and a democratic manner in which its leader is going to be appointed. That is not going to happen.
What about a backlash from the parliamentary group? It consists of several people around what they've got about 89, 90 of their own. So what about them?
Faraz, as I told you before, they don't want to stake or risk their positions. They know that the UNP is a very vindictive party. The moment you step out of line, you're sidelined and thrown out. So therefore, that is not going to happen.
One of the questions from a viewer. News First, thank you for telecasting this eye-opening interview today. Why can't this gentleman be encouraged to lead the country? Any presidential aspirations? I'm going to have to ask everyone who comes here this.
Not.
Why are you laughing?
Faraz, very small fish in a big pond. You know.
Do you mean you know your station?
I think I know my station, and well, that will take a little time. I feel. I mean, I don't want to be look that I'm too big for my boots.
Right.
But well, if
But you're happy at the moment to do your little bit
definitely
for
oh, definitely.
for
us,
president and country.
Definitely for us, I must say that to the exclusion of everything, in the last 7-8 months, I did my best, and I did it for my country, right? So today I'm going to meet His Excellency the President, and I will always, if I'm given the opportunity to serve the country in whatever capacity, I don't think for us I can gather myself to contest a parliamentary elections or a provincial council election, because I've been in the provincial council for 15 years, and the contribution I have made as governor for 7 months is immense, and I don't think I should be saying it, but I have to say it because I think the people need to know that on several occasions people like the Pradesh Sabha chairman, mayors, various associations have come and said, Governor, for 20 years this problem has not been solved. For 30 years this problem has not been solved. You have come within 2 hours, you have sorted it out. So it is basically application. It is basically understanding what their problem is. And if you understand your problem, and if you want to help and serve the people of this country, I feel that you can still do it. With all the barriers, you still can do it. And I feel that in the last 7 months, I have done for the central province, which people there would not do for the last 30 years after the provincial council.
Well, thank you very much, Maithri Gunaratne. And actually, on behalf of the people out there in the central province, thank you. We've got several messages from that area. Thank you very much for your...
Thanks, Faraz. Thanks for the interview.
Thank you for your service to the nation. I wish you well. We wish you well in your march towards further helping the country. And I wish you well, and do pass our best wishes to the man in the hot seat, the president of the country, when you go and see him later on today. Do assure him that you are ready to continue to serve the people.
Definitely.
And that's the way it was on Newsline. It's been a wonderful morning. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Have a great week. And, of course, God bless.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.